Hey guys, XG here and welcome back to another Modern Warfare open beta video. This video is going to be my impressions on the beta week for PlayStation only. This is what I experienced, these are my opinions. I'm also going to throw in some stuff that that could be added to the game on launch. So again, my opinions, stuff that happened to me personally. So yeah, we'll get into it. First, we're going to start with the goods, obviously. But firstly, I want to start talking about the gunplay. Now, we already said this. I think I've already said this within the alpha, my small little impressions with the 2v2 alpha. But I absolutely loved the gunplay. The gunplay, the way the guns feel, the recoil, the way they hit, just the way they look, the way they reload, the sounds of the guns. It's just so amazing. This is probably the best Call of Duty to probably ever exist, to be honest. Like in terms of if we're talking gameplay and all that, gunplay. Excuse me. But yeah, gunplay, the way they felt, the way they looked, the way they handled. The guns in Modern Warfare are probably the best guns we've ever had in a Call of Duty at all. Like no guns in any Call of Duty can top Modern Warfare's guns. Secondly, the graphics. I know there's some people out there that say, "Oh, Modern Warfare's graphics are shit." But if you look at compared to Black Ops 4, way better looking than Black Ops 4. Honestly, World War II was better than Black Ops 4. Modern Warfare remastered graphics are better than Black Ops 4. You can disagree with me all you want, but Modern Warfare's graphics look really, really good. And I'm playing on a base PlayStation, like the original PlayStation, because I myself don't have a PS4 Pro. My brother does, and when I played it on the PS4 Pro in 4K and HDR, it looked so good. But yeah, that's enough of the graphics. I don't want to get into it because, again, yeah. But the feel of the game in general, the game just feels amazing. Like, I didn't really get that many frame stutters, lag in terms of like game lag and not like connectivity lag. There is a couple instances where I had some game lag freezes and all that, but we'll get into that in the bad. But the aura feel of the game felt amazing. The TTK felt fine. The time to death felt fine. Sometimes it was a little too fast. Sometimes a little too slow. The first 2 weeks was a little slow because of the no mini map. But again, we'll get into that in the bad. But yeah, the other good thing is the gunsmith. I absolutely loved the gunsmith, and attachments kind of goes within coinciding of gunsmith. I absolutely loved Gunsmith. It's probably the best addition, one of the best additions they could have added into a Call of Duty game. I love tricking out my guns to my liking, the way I think they look good and perform better than other people. If you, there'll be a link in the description of the M4 video that I did, but that is just an idea of what I like from Gunsmith. The way you can customize the stock, the pistol grip, the forward grip, the putting like an angle grip, a tactical grip, a vertical grip, a stubby grip, barrel attachments, like you got different suppressors, you got different muzzle brakes, different like sights. It's just different magazine, hopefully different magazines, because that'd be cool. And I can't wait for conversion kits for weapons to come out so I can change like my M4 to a 7.62, a 308, a 300 Blackout, a 50 Beowulf. Fuck, you can even turn the M4 into a 9 mil or a 45 ACP. I think that would be so fucking cool. And then next up we have realism mode. Now I recently just uploaded a video at the time of this recording of realism mode. I only got to play 2 games because right after I got done recording that, the server shut down, and we gotta wait, like Xbox has gotta wait until Thursday, sadly. But realism mode was super, super fun. I absolutely love realism mode. I think it would probably play a lot better with hardcore. Sorry, hit my mic. With hardcore settings, like one to two shots to the body. Still keep the one-shot headshots. One thing, I was talking with my cousin, and he was watching my video, and he said, I think the nameplate should be disabled. I disagree with that. It's kind of difficult to see players in the game. I know I'm kind of mixing up good and bad. But that was bad. The nameplates, I think they're fine. They need to stay in there. But realism mode was super fun. And other modes I could talk about, 20v20 for TDM Dom and
There's
headquarters.
a guy over here.
I liked them. I really liked them, but playing on one map was kind of annoying. But yeah, other modes are fun. I'm usually a TDM domination guy, but playing other modes, I really enjoy them, like the 20v20 headquarters. That was a very fun mode.
Ooh.
But yeah, enough with modes. Performance, like I said, I didn't really experience what other people were saying with lag, frame drops, screen freezes, and all that jazz. Another thing with weapons,
Ooh.
I want to say snipers. I absolutely love snipers in this game. They were probably the best snipers we had in Call of Duty. That is very arguable because it's more difficult to quickscope. And I know there's some people who hate quickscopers out there, but it is difficult to quickscope. But I like that. I love the snipers in this game. I love that when you put a suppressor on a sniper and you shoot someone, it's not, hey, you got to shoot him another 2 times. It's, no, the suppressors actually work like real life suppressors and don't reduce your damage. They just reduce your damage range, which I guess is technically the same thing. Moving on, we have the map entrances. So I don't know what they're actually called, but the way you enter into the map, like the beginning cinematics into a map, like let's say you fly into a helicopter, you jump off, you're ready, or you come into a truck. I think later on there's going to be like you're sitting on a T-62 and you drive and you jump off the tank and then so on. But yeah, the map entrances are badass as fuck and I absolutely love them, and Infinity Ward keep them coming. These are absolutely amazing. Another thing I want to say is load times between games and finding a match. Perfection. I absolutely loved, getting into a match, loading in within like 5 seconds, and then you wait another 2 to 3 seconds, and you're in the game. It's not like, let's say, Black Ops 4, where it takes literally like a minute to get into a match sometimes. But yeah, the load times and loading into games, pristine. Like, I never had a problem with loading into a game. Next, we have the beta content. I do like how they kept the content going, like every day or every 2 days. They would update the playlists. We never got that in a beta. We never got that. So that was fun. Another thing is the devs kept their eyes on the beta. Like, they didn't just release the beta and then said, oh, fuck it, we're not gonna, like previous betas. If a gun was if a gun in a beta was really bad and broken and like overpowered, the devs wouldn't touch it. They didn't care. Like they wouldn't, sometimes if they got enough outrage they would nerf it, but most of the time they didn't really give a shit. This beta, again, there are a couple guns, and we'll get into that in the bad, that are a little iffy in my opinion. They didn't touch them, but in terms of maps, modes, and playlists, they did update them regularly. And if the devs really kept their eye on feedback for the beta, which is great. In terms of the game, I really enjoy. I personally think the beta is more polished than Black Ops 4. I get Black Ops 4 gets a lot of shit, but let's be real. This beta was probably more polished than Black Ops 4 at launch, and probably now, if we're gonna be real. I think I'm gonna head off to the bads on the last of the good, the NVGs, the night vision goggles. Absolutely, just they look so cool. They look so clean. I can't wait to use night vision in realism mode because it's gonna look even more cooler. But it's just so cool the way you take off the night vision, the way you put it on, the way it looks. When you have the night vision on, it looks like you're watching a live leak video. Like it looks so clean, so cool. In between the bad and the good, I'm gonna add an iffy here. Now, a lot of people hate having no minimap, and they say, "Oh, COD is bad without a minimap. We need a minimap in this Call of Duty." The thing with the minimap is I noticed that people rely on the minimap too much. And as a fan of tactical hardcore shooters like Postscriptum, Squad, Insurgency, Rising Storm 2 Vietnam, those type of games, we don't have a minimap in those games. We don't have one. So that's a feature. We don't have one. The games are slow. It's more methodical and tactical. So I don't have a problem with the minimap being gone. I don't have a problem with the minimap coming back. I did notice that when the minimap was off, there was a lot more campers. People weren't aggressive. And then when you turn the minimap on towards the second week of the beta, second week towards the actual open beta where the public got a hand of it, the pacing was a lot better. Like, it felt cleaner, it felt smoother. People were actually not being pussies and not camping. But there were still people camping because you're gonna get that in a Call of Duty. But yeah, the minimap, I don't care if they take it out of the game. I don't care if they keep it in the game. It didn't bother me no matter what. A feature I want to say that this goes along with the bad and the iffy is camping. Camping was so bad in this beta, like actually probably unplayable. Not unplayable, but almost unplayable, to the point where every match you'd have at least half the enemy team camping and your team camping and head glitching and mounting, and just it was so bad to the point where there was times where I would just leave a game because half of the enemy team was just camping and sitting in buildings and literally doing nothing. And it was really bad. So a thing that I think they should add to the game is if you're camping more than a minute in a corner, or maybe more than like 20 seconds in a corner, you need to be permanently marked on the map until you move. They need to do that. I know a lot of people are gonna, if people watch this video, they're gonna be like, oh, you're trash. But seriously, if you're the type of person to sit in a corner for more than 30 seconds, you need to be permanently put on the map so people know where you are. You can't get good in a video game by sitting in a corner and doing nothing for your team. Like, you're not only being a pussy sitting in a corner, but you're doing nothing for your team, for the people who are actually running around playing the objective and getting kills. So Infinity Ward, if you happen to see this video, or anyone that works for Infinity Ward, please add the ability to where if someone is sitting in a corner longer than, I would say, 20 seconds to a minute, you're permanently marked on the minimap until you move and play the game the way it's meant to be played. So that's what I got. All right. Let me stop myself there. Now this is me editing the video and watching over. When I'm talking about this camping thing, and when I say I want them to, if you're sitting in a corner for, I want to change it to at least a minute, because let's be real. Like, if you're sitting in a corner for at least 30 seconds, most likely you got shot and you're trying to regen your health, and then you push up. So I want to change it. If you're sitting in a corner longer than a minute, you should be permanently marked on the map until you get up and move and play the objective, play the game for your team, and actually have fun instead of sitting in a corner and doing nothing. I want to make it clear that also I know there's new players coming into the game, and new players are afraid to run out and run and gun and all that stuff. I understand there's new players who don't understand how to play the game. I don't want to say correctly, but don't understand how to play the game. Firstly, that's kind of what I want to say. So I want to apologize for myself for saying that and calling everyone a pussy who sits in a corner, but I'm gonna be brutal. I'm gonna be real. I'll get some hate. I'll get some flame. I don't really care. I get that on a daily basis. But if you're sitting in a corner, if you're a camper and that's your playstyle, you're a pussy, because you're not playing the game. You're making it frustrating for other players to enjoy the game, because you're sitting in a corner and you're doing nothing for A, yourself, B, your team, and C, if it's an objective game mode like Domination or Headquarters, you're doing nothing and you're not playing the objective. And it just interrupts the flow of the game by sitting in a corner and doing nothing the entire game. So I want to apologize for the new players who don't understand how to play the game. But I just urge you, if you're a new player coming into this Call of Duty, practice, play the game, don't sit in a corner. You'll enjoy yourself a lot more. I know it's going to be frustrating for you for a couple of games, but play the game, get good, but just play the game, learn how it flows, learn how the game plays. Don't sit in a corner. Don't be an idiot. I just wanted to interject there. I don't want to come off as an asshole. But maybe something like um, Infinity Ward could add maybe a feature to where the game could detect if you're new to Call of Duty. I know that's very hard for uh, being a dev and all that. It's very hard to program and code and all that. But the game could probably detect that you're not doing so good, so it maybe could put you into games against other new players for Call of Duty or something. I don't know. But then again, that just defeats the purpose of people constantly tanking their KD just to get into those matches and be an asshole and kill new players and such. But yeah, I'm gonna end this here. Bad again. Camping. Camping was a very bad problem. Uh, I want to say the jumping and player acceleration in jumping, but the player acceleration is not a bad thing. But just the way people jump around corners constantly, the way people jump constantly in general in gunfights is ridiculous. There's multiple times where I have the better reaction time, and I shot first. I hit them at least 3 times, but because they jumped and hitboxes are wonky when people are jumping in combat, I lose the fight. I think they need to, and this goes along with the super sprint glitch, to where people can super sprint jump, super sprint jump, super sprint jump, and basically get across the map in like half a minute. Not half a minute, more like half than 2 minutes or something. But it's really annoying when people jump constantly. I really think they need to nerf the height you jump and how far you jump when you do a super sprint, because it's really dumb and it's really stupid. If they're going for this realistic standpoint in multiplayer in the game, I don't think a real life human could sprint and jump around a corner and perfectly aim with their weapon. So you could keep the way how high you jump and how far you jump. I just think that you should not be able to aim and jump at the same time. I think when someone jumps around the corner, they should not be able to aim perfectly accurate. I think they need to be able to hit fire. I think that's a great middle ground. So that way, if you're the better player and you know someone's around the corner and you're pre-aimed on that corner and someone jumps around the corner and kills you, you're frustrated because they can jump around the corner perfectly accurate and kill you. So yeah, I think that's something they need to fix. They need to fix people jumping around corners and aiming perfectly accurate without missing, unless of course you miss yourself. The FAMAS, I think the FAMAS needs a nerf. I think it needs like a fire rate nerf, or it shouldn't be a one burst. I know people are gonna hate me for that, but the FAMAS, I think it needs a nerf. Along the M4 is was very prominent in the beta. All people used was the M4. It kills super quick, like super quick. I don't know the actual. I think I heard somewhere like I was watching someone else's video. I think it was Espresso, where they found out that the M4 has, I think they said, a .77 kill KD. So basically, you would get killed 3 times before you could get your weapon up. So either that's bugged or that's meant to happen. I just think the M4 is a little too prominent. Head glitching along with camping, we already said that, but head glitching, very terrible. There is times, I don't know if I have it on recording. If I do, I'll put it on screen. But there are times where I'm aiming at someone's head, and because they're head glitching, I'll shoot them in the head and it does no damage. I think it's because the game thinks their head is above cover when in reality it's not. Like obviously it is, but head glitching is super bad in this game, and I think they need to figure out the reason why. I think it's because the hitbox of the cover they're behind is bigger than their head, so you can't hit their head, but they can kill you instantly. So head glitching needs fixed, along with another weapon. I think the AK needs a buff. At close range, the AK is fine, but at far range, against like an M4 or something, the AK just underperforms. And I really think they need to buff the AK with like half damage buff or something. Just like, or I really don't know what they can do to the AK. I feel the AK is underwhelming considering it's a bigger round than the M4, and the M4 outperforms it by literally everything. But yeah, I mean, I won't be triggered, and I won't be mad if they buff the AK. If they don't buff the AK, and if they don't, that didn't make sense. But yeah, If they don't buff the AK, I won't be mad. It's just a little, in my opinion. The player flinch in the game is horrible, especially with the M14. I don't have any recordings of me using the M14, but the M14 in the game, the flinch is so bad. It is ridiculously bad, and I think they seriously need to fix it, especially with the M14. It's so bad. Like, if you guys want to see an example of the M14 flinch, go watch Drifter's video, because he shows it off and he talks about how the flinch in the M14, and I 100% agree with him. The M14's flinch is horrible, and they need to fix it. The AUG, there is a. I did a live stream a couple days back of the beta, and I said the AUG is the easiest gun to use in the beta, and I 100% stick with that. The AUG is probably the easiest gun in the game to use. It's got literally no recoil, and it's an SMG. So I don't know what they could do to nerf that. Personal radar to me is cheese. I don't like personal radar in the game. It doesn't help your team. It's just a benefit for yourself. And I think personal radar needs to be taken out of the game, especially if the radar in the game is permanent. Take it out of the game. Personal radar doesn't need to be in the game. You have a UAV that you get 3 kills, and if you use hardline, you have 2 kills, and most people can get 2 kills to 3 kills on their own. So personal radar needs to be taken out of the game. I don't like it. Again, the super sprint glitch. Sorry, that is annoying. We already talked about that, so I'm not going to go on about it. The missile glitch, the cruise missile glitch, it was only on raid, I've noticed, but I'll try and get some gameplay of it. But usually when you call on a cruise missile on Grozno raid, the perspective would be like inside the missile instead of like above it. So they already touched on that it will be fixed. Spawns, for the love of God, fix spawns. Spawns better be fixed when this game's released, or in the upcoming beta for Xbox and PC. It is so bad. The spawns are absolutely terrible. There's times where I've spawned literally right in front of an enemy, right behind an enemy, literally right next to an enemy. There's times where I spawned in the middle of the map and there's like 12 people just staring at me and I get absolutely destroyed. There's times where on Hackney Yard, when you're spawning next to a small warehouse, between the or that head glitch spot, the brick wall heads glitch spot, you can spawn right there, and there's people just camping on the top next to smokestack. They can see you spawn and kill you. Yeah, the spawns are absolutely terrible. There's multiple times where I've joined a game late, and I'm on the losing team, and my team's getting destroyed because we're getting spawn killed. It's absolutely horrible. Fix the spawns. I hate it. Raid in the beta was probably the most map I've ever seen, ever. It was ridiculous. I mean, I don't mind raid, but it was really annoying when all you would see is constant raid and raid and raid. Spawn in animation, where when you die, it's like the battlefield spawn in. I hate where you're literally sitting up there for like a good 10 seconds and then you spawn in. I hate it. Change it, please. I just want to get into the combat immediately. It's horrible. Player visibility, I would say player visibility isn't that bad, but there are times where you're staring. You can see someone, but the nameplate doesn't come up, and all you see is just this black shadow. I don't know how they can do that, just extend the range of nameplates, I guess. Player visibility isn't bad, but it's not like great. Dying around corners was a very prominent problem that I've experienced. Also, there's along with that, there was players that would kill me, but on my screen I would not see them at all. I don't think I have any gameplay to show off that problem. But most of you that played the PlayStation beta from early access to open beta, will agree with me that not player visibility. Dying around corners was a lot. There's many times where I've ran around a corner, I'm perfectly safe, and then I die from a guy who's clearly shooting at me. But yeah, players on my screen that I don't see that kill me need to be fixed, and dying around corners needs to be fixed. Now on to performance again here. Like I mentioned in the good, there were a couple times, like once or twice, where my game is froze, and it froze for like 2 seconds, and then I was back in the action. I never dropped frames though. That's a problem. I'm running on a base PlayStation and I never drop frames. Only crashed. It never crashed, but my game only froze once, and that was about it. The last bad we have that I can think of at the top of my head is the Semtex glitch. Sometimes when people will throw a Semtex, the red icon will be flashing. Nothing will happen. It'll just be sitting there. Also, I've noticed that sometimes when it's on a door and you hit the door, it randomly explodes and then you'll die. I don't know how that works. There are some times where claymores won't go off. I experienced a time where I watched a player run through my claymore, didn't go off. I don't know. There are times where grenades don't do anything. Like you'll cook a grenade, you'll throw it, it'll land next to someone, won't explode. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this video short. I don't want to go too long. The PS, not the PS. Well, yeah, the PS4 and Xbox PC early access starts I hope the 18th, but I think it starts Thursday the 20th. But yeah, I will do if more stuff happens within that beta, I will definitely talk more about it. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, guys. I don't want to keep you too long, but like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell button for all notifications, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios, guys.